Dude, thank you. Thank you, dude.
Why, are you interested in one of those?
No, I
Ever seen one of those?
No, I couldn't fucking ride that to save my life.
You don't know that.
Well, I'd fall on my ass. So at my age, I don't want
Sure,
to
you don't want to fall. So this would never happen, but this is a demonstration. I would have no issues with my own climbing this thing. But look at me now, bro. Wow. I'd have zero issues with my MSC. Obviously, you can go around though. Oh God. Woo! Definitely gonna take a break after this. Oh gosh, so this is my only issue with the wheel, is it's extremely heavy. Okay? Oh, I'm out of breath. For real, for real.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we will do a quick review on the veteran Sherman, a wheel I call the people's wheel because the Sherman engineers tried their best to answer as many questions and satisfy as many demands as possible from veteran riders. Also, a big shout out to ewheels for sending me this machine to review, and to Marty for blowing it up on Overheat Hill and putting it all back together stronger and more refined than ever. The veteran Sherman electric unicycle, or EUC, is possibly named after the M4 Sherman tank used in World War II, When the United States entered the World War in 1941, it began to supply China with M4 Shermans, which the Chinese used to successfully stop many Japanese tanks. The veteran EUC looks like a tank, so despite the unconfirmed name origin, the description is fitting. This is all according to medium.com. Check out their site for more details. Let's start with the shell. It's pretty obvious that this EUC was designed to be extremely utilitarian in nature, and nothing demonstrates this better than the shell. The body's material appears to be a lot stronger than most other EUCs. Unlike most other EUCs though, Sherman clearly has no interest in letting you find out how much abuse this shell can take because of the added front and rear fenders, which serve several purposes. Now onto the pedals. The pedals are long and comfortable. Some people complain about the pedal dip, but if you adjust the pedal tilt to about 2 to 3 degrees backwards, that should help. Also, this issue has reportedly been fixed with a firmware update. Check ewheels.com for more details. The pedals are the most sticky I've ever experienced on any wheel. Also, because of how long it is, I adjust my feet much less due to how comfortably my feet are positioned. The disadvantage of a long pedal though is that if you decide to take this thing off-roading, you likely will catch something, resulting in a crash. Normal to light off-roading should be fine though. So how is the agility and maneuverability? Well, at low speeds you can get away with some sharp turns, but at higher speeds maneuverability requires a lot more effort. Agility is the same. The weight makes it very hard to throw around in tight quarters as you would with a much lighter wheel like an 84-volt MSX for example, or an 18XL. Similar to a Harley-Davidson, the Sherman requires some setup before making hard turns, unlike a fast Yamaha sports bike for example, something to keep in mind at least initially. With enough riding time, you should be able to anticipate and avoid potential hazards. Eventually, the weight will become an advantage rather than a hindrance, like riding in heavy wind for example. Now for the size and dimensions. The Sherman is perfectly proportional when you consider both height and width. It's equipped with a 3200 watt battery, and yet it remains extremely thin when compared to something like an MSB for example, which is very bulky, making the learning curve a bit hard to master quickly. Although I wouldn't recommend the Sherman to a new rider, the size and dimension is definitely not the reason. In fact, a combination of dimension and tire makes it a very easy EUC to master because of how proportional it is and how planted the tire feels to the ground. However, the weight and pure power of the motor is what makes it hard for me to recommend this to a new rider. The weight alone will make it very difficult to stop in an emergency situation for new riders.
Someone is here with the Sherman today. I gotta find him. Oh god, he bought the Sherman and he wants me to teach him. So let me see if I can find him. So it's his first wheel, the Sherman. Goodness gracious. I told people don't buy the wheel as the first wheel. But honestly, if you want to buy the Sherman as your first wheel, hey, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, be prepared. How you doing, brother?
All right. Damn, what?
I know, right?
Down like a motherfucker.
I know. That's funny.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Not gonna motor?
Yeah. Electric. Yeah, so he's back there. This car right there. So I'm curious to see his brand new Sherman. I want to see what a brand new Sherman looks like with no scratches. But I'm gonna take him to my training ground and we'll see what's up. But he won't be riding. It's his first wheel. First wheel. So let's see what's up, right?
This is what a brand new Sherman looks like. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. So guys, one thing I'm realizing is he got on this wheel and you know, balancing became an easy task because you see this wheel, this tire, it's wide. It's wide and almost flat. If you compare that to like the MSB or any other wheel, they're a little bit narrow, exactly. And the curve is there's more curve. There's less curve with this. But yeah, he got on it, no wiggles. Try it again. Get on it. It's not a bad wheel to learn on. Look at that. She's barely wiggling. Like the other guys, they would wiggle like crazy. Get off completely. That's awesome, man. Get back on again. Nice. So that's beautiful. Now the main reason I would not recommend this for new riders is because of the weight when you're turning or whatever. So I had him do some leg controls, leg muscle conditioning. That was nice. Now,
Exactly,
this is your
because-
first time riding.
Right, and this is my first time riding. Don't even know what EUC was until like maybe 5 months ago. And you know, I want to be part of the community. I love it. Every time I watch the YouTube, you know, whether it's You Stride, Marty, Dove, Kojo, I said these guys must be having fun.
Yeah.
And that's the good news, and I love it. You know?
So the pads, he says,
pad, yeah,
give him a lot of help.
Yeah, what the pad does for me, it helps me grip my calves.
It helps you grip your calves.
Right, so I can move the wheel with my leg alone without worrying about, you know, my upper body. So, you know, when I want to move, I just grab the wheel and the pad, both back and left, help me, you know, shield me from my legs slipping away. So
nice.
It was so nice, and I'm glad I put it on.
But honestly, man, I think this fat tire, how wide it is really the reason you're getting this so well.
Exactly.
Pretty good, but I still don't recommend it for new riders.
No one will be good.
But this is a happy new rider.
Hey, first time, never step on it in my life.
Yep.
And I chose Sherman because I really want something more reliable, good quality, and you know, when I saw the review from everybody from different part of the country, and they love it, even, you know, international, you know, in Britain, in Austria, you know, they emphasize the durability, the comfort.
Look at that, you're letting go of the fence.
Almost.
All right.
I'll get it.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Speed and power. The veteran Sherman is equipped with a 2600 watt motor and a 3200 watt battery fitted with the battle-tested 18650 cells, almost double the size of the high-speed MSP. The most amazing achievement of this combination is that the veteran engineers were able to fit all this tech in a slim body, unlike the MSPs, which are a bit bulky. With the control board positioned at the very top of the EUC and the batteries on the side, the addition of a knobby, almost flat tire surface makes the Sherman feel extremely planted and sticky on the road at high speeds. While the MSP requires a lot of skill and experience to achieve high speeds, the Sherman almost makes it child's play due to these combinations.
Pedal is stuck.
Although the Sherman has a high torque motor of 2600 watts, the sheer weight almost negates it, making acceleration only good from stop.
I could never get over that weight. You know, the Z10 was a very small wheel, but it was very dense, and so you felt the weight at all times. I'm feeling the weight on this one a lot.
A big positive to having a 2600 watt motor is stopping power. Extreme hard braking is very good, and it should be able to handle whatever you throw at it. Although some riders do use the roll bar to assist with stopping, I don't recommend it while standing, at least at very high speeds. Cruising at high speeds on the Veteran is a dream. The sense of comfort, stability, and the constant power delivery you feel underneath you leaves you wanting to push it past its spec 45 miles an hour. Although it's not equipped with suspension, the diameter of the tire plus the low PSI rating makes it ideal for absorbing impact, on bumps, potholes, and some light off-roading. Amenities. The Sherman lacks a lot of the bells and whistles of other wheels. Namely, there's no lift switch, fancy lights, or speakers, but it makes up for that with the big tail light, making it almost impossible for drivers not to see you, and the extremely bright lumens adjustable headlight with the side flashing LEDs. Also, it's equipped with a very big LCD display that's even readable in direct sunlight, making this the only EUC on the market that can truly be a standalone where you don't need to use an app. Speaking of which, you can also configure your pedal angle, tilt settings, speed alarm settings, and much more. But my favorite setting of all is the pedal angle settings. Wow, just look at that. The roll bar. The roll bars are hollow, but strong, and serve to protect Sherman from unfortunate accidents such as cutouts. The first thing to hit the ground in case of a crash is the face of the wheel, and these roll bars serve as a preventative measure against inevitable damage. Seating is also improved with the bars. In my experience with other wheels like my MSP or Tesla, seating can be a challenge, but with the Veteran, the added benefit in having the bars is that seating becomes a lot easier. There are other added benefits to having fenders though. For example, some riders use it to place rollers on each side of the Sherman in case it crashes on its side.
Right, not our planned thing, but I've just came off the Sherman pretty hard. Had all my pads on, knee pads, helmet, it's down there, elbow pads. Only thing that hurts really is my shoulder, but it is what it is, things happen. So the slider, made for protection, done exactly that. That got damaged to the max, but the wheel this side is fine, no issue at all, which is banging. A little bit of pedal scraping from where I rolled, some big pedal scraping, but came off pretty well to be fair. So this is what happened to the slider from taking the impact of my crash instead of my wheel. Obviously it's deformed and damaged, which I simply just replaced it with a new one. That's what it's about.
Very DIY. But my favorite use of the roll bar is for seating. You get added stability, confidence, and maneuverability when you're able to grab onto something to gain leverage during acceleration, making hard turns at high speeds or just hanging out. The trolley handle is well placed. Hidden in the wheel like other EUCs, this handle is very practical for such a heavy wheel. Grocery shopping will be a breeze. As a side note, you should not attempt to carry the Sherman with this handle. Conclusion. Nothing on the Veteran Sherman looks or feels like an afterthought. This was well made, and with the finished product look and feel, you can be certain that every inch of this beast was conceived with purpose. Example, how does it cool? Well, there are small vents on the backside beneath the charge ports, purposely placed. But what if I break my headlights or taillights? No worries, just open up the wheel, just kidding. The lights are modular, which means you can simply replace them with another one. No need to open up the wheel. Overall, this is a great start in the right direction from a company spawned from former Gotway engineers. Battery and range. The Sherman is spec'd out to achieve 128 miles, assuming the rider weighs 170 pounds and rides at 20 miles per hour. But as many of you know, I don't usually keep to these recommendations, and many don't. In a real-world scenario, extreme hard riding with speeds in the range of 35 to 43 miles per hour with a lot of hard acceleration, the Sherman should be able to achieve a modest range of about 40 plus miles with a little battery to spare at the lower speeds. It's safe to assume though that most riders, including myself, won't ride like this on a daily basis. Provided the temperature is ideal, anywhere between 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and riding speeds kept well below 40 miles per hour, range should be a lot higher, much closer to the 128 miles. In this relive, with temperature being around 78 degrees Fahrenheit, I was able to drain the Sherman's 3200 watt-hour battery down to 88.9 volts, which is practically 50%. Rider weight 210 pounds with gear, hard riding with speeds between 35 and 43 miles per hour roughly. Now interpret that how you will, but I did the same test with the high-speed MSB at a much more modest speed, and the results were staggering but not unexpected. In short, at 50% battery on the high-speed MSB, the Sherman was just getting started. Needless to say, the Sherman is a hauler of a wheel. So in closing, who is this wheel for? Well, it's for all of us. But I would not recommend it as a first wheel. This is a very good first attempt by Sherman, and I can't wait for version 2.